सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। सुखं नित्यं स्वप्रकाशं व्यापकं नामरूपयोः अधिष्ठानं बुद्ध्यबोध्यं बुद्धिर्द्रव्यत्तु निर्मलम् अपारं सर्ववेदान्तवेद्यं प्रत्यक्परं महः तदेवाहं न मत्तोऽन्यदिति मे निश्चिता मतिः।
So in this section where we are seeing Prayojana Vishayaka Vishesha Akshepaha, first the Purupakshi said that bondage is real, and for that he gave the reason that in Atma, for the superimposition of bondage in the form of Anatma, there has to be causal factors requisites, and that are not there. And after that, he started explaining what are the causal factors. So he said there are 5 causal factors: samskaraha, pramatru dosha, prameya dosha, pramana dosha, and the absence of knowledge of the specific aspect of the adhisthana and presence of knowledge of the general aspect of the adhisthana. And after that, with the help of Anvaya Vyatireka logic, he also explained how each of this factor is a causal factor for adhyasa to happen.
The example of Rajata Adhyasa and Sattva Adhyasa.
Yes. And then we saw that one more point which we saw yesterday was that it is said that this Prameya dosha is in the form of the Sadrishya of the object which is superimposed with the adhishthanam. In general, similarity with something else is not a defect, but in the context of adhyasa, superimposition, the similarity becomes a defect, because when the similarity is there, then only there is a possibility of superimposition. If there is no similarity, then the possibility of superimposition is not there. And we saw the example that in general, having the face similar to somebody or having the figure similar to somebody is not a defect. But if the face or the figure is similar to that of the face or the figure of the terrorist, then it can become a problem. It can be considered as a defect. And then we also saw that why is Samanya Jnanam called Samanya Jnanam? Because the complete knowledge of the adhishthanam in the case of this Shuktika is Iyam Shuktika. This is the shell. And here the Idam Tvam is common in the wrong perception and also the right knowledge. Wrong perception means in the wrong perception there is this idea of that this is silver, so there also this is there. And in the right understanding, it is this is shell, so there also this is there. Since it is common in both the cases, wrong perception and right understanding, therefore it is called Samanya Amsha. Or another way which we saw was that thisness is common to everything, and therefore also we can say it is the Samanya Amsha. But majorly we are seeing the Samanya Amsha is called Samanya because it is present in the wrong perception also and also the right understanding. And in contrast to that, the Vishesha Amsha, in this case the Shuktika, that is present only in the right understanding and it is not present in the wrong perception. And therefore it is called the Vishesha Amsha, the specific aspect.
Present as known. Present,
Yes.
of course, but as
Yes.
known, yes.
Yes. So that particular aspect, the Shuktika aspect is known only when there is right understanding. And when there is wrong perception, then that is not known. Therefore, it is called the Vishesha Amsha. Yes. And we also saw, when can there be this Samanya Ajnana? Either the object has to be very far, means beyond the range of my sense organs, or if the object is a visual, means is a person, it can be visualized, then if there is complete darkness, then also in that case also there would be Samanya Ajnanam. And when such Samanya Ajnanam or the Vishesha Jnanam is there, then Adhyasa is not possible. And here, with regard to this Samanya Jnanam and Vishesha Ajnanam, the Tippanikara has given the definition. The Tippanikara for Samanya Jnanam is saying the aspect which is appearing even in the state of Bhranti, is in the state of delusion, and on whose absence, and we have to add here, on the absence of whose knowledge the delusion itself would not be there. That aspect is called the Samanya Amsha, the general aspect, or another name is Adharaha, support. And for this Vishesha Amsha, the definition is the aspect which is not shining during the state of delusion. And when there is knowledge of that particular aspect, then the delusion will be completely destroyed. Such aspect is Vishesha Amsha, the specific aspect, and that is also called as Adhishthanam, the basis. So thus here the Tippanikara has made some difference between this Samanya Amsha and Vishesha Amsha by calling it one as Adhara and other as Adhishthanam. But in general, we generally call it as Adhishthanam only. And now the Granthakara, after showing that how these five things, five requisites are requisites for Adhyasa, now he says further. Purvokta samagrinam panchanam anyatama bhave na adhyasah siddhyati. When there is absence of either of the five requisites,
Either, any one of five. In English, no either we don't say. Either is always between two. Either of the two and any one of this five.
So, when there is absence of any one of the five requisites which have been described earlier, then the superimposition would not be established. And for that, he gives the example. Gatotpatto kulala danda chakra mrit saliladayah samagriyah. With regard to the rise of pot, the requisites are the kulala, the pot maker, danda, a stick, chakra, the circle, mrut, the clay.
Wheel.
The wheel. Chakra, the wheel, mrut, clay, salila, water, and adi padena we can say sunlight. So these are the requisites. Yatha etesham anyatama bhave na eva utpadyate ghatah तथा अध्यास सामग्रीणाम अन्यतमा भावे अपि अध्यासः न उत्पद्यते vidyeta. Just as if there is absence of any one of these factors, means like kulaladi, then ghata would not be produced. Similarly, if there is absence of any one of the requisites for adhyasa, then even then also adhyasa would not be produced or would not be there. Tasmat, since this is the general rule that when the causal factors are there, then only the effect is produced. Therefore, पूर्वोक्तानां पंचानां सामग्रीणां आवश्यकत्वात् तासां सर्वासां सत्त्वे एव अध्यासः जायेत न अन्यथा. Therefore,
this mukta anvaya vyatireka darshanat.
so based on the anvaya vyatireka logic, which was seen just now, based on that, yes, since there is this necessity of the requisites, means all the 5 requisites which are told earlier, and for adhyasa, when there is presence of all 5 of them, then only adhyasa would be born, and not otherwise. Not otherwise means not when any one of the 5 is not present. Swamiji, I have written anyatha as sarvasam asatve. Anyatha I have written as sarvasam asatve.
Sarvasam or sarvasam anyatamasya. Here is immediately speaking sarvasam satve is there, no? Previous part. Therefore we say anyata means sarvasam asatve. Sarvasam asatve can be seen in both ways, no? When all are not there means any one of them is not there. Both ways it can be sarvasam asatve means any one of them is not there. Immediately, structure wise it refers to sarvasam asatve. But we can understand as sarvesha manyatamanam abhava.
Yes. So thus, in this particular avarta, the Granthakara showed what are the 5 requisites for adhyasa, how they become requisites for adhyasa, and how they are not, if they are not there, then adhyasa would not be produced. And now, further in the further avartas, the Granthakara is going to show how each of these requisites are not there in Atma. And why in Atma? Because we are talking about the superimposition of Anatma on Atma. And therefore the requisites have to be there in Atma, which is the Adhishthanam in this case.
We can say we require necessary conditions for superimposition of anatma on atma. A condition, some of them may be applicable to anatma, some of them may be applicable to other things. But these requisites are there for superimposition of anatma on atma. So atmani anatma dhyasasya samagri nasti. So anatmani has a connection with adhyasa. Anatmani atmani samagri nasti, that is not anvaya. Atmani anatma dhyasasya samagri nasti.
So it means that for the superimposition of anatma, that is here it is ahankaradi on atma, the requisites are not there. That is what now the Granthakara is going to show each one by one. So first he shows that the first condition, that is the satvastu anubhava janya samskaraha, is not there. So
which vastu?
Satvastu.
Satyavastu.
Satyavastu.
Sat generally we don't say satyavastu.
Satyavastu anubhava janya samskaraha is not there. So it is said bandadhyase prathama samagriya bhavaha. There is absence of the first requisite with regard to the superimposition of bondage. And he says first of all, he makes a statement. Bandhasya adhyastatva na ekah api hetuhu sambhavati. So this is a general statement with regard to all the five requisites. It is said, even one causal factor, which is the establisher of bondage being superimposed, is not possible. And in this sentence, he has dismissed that all causal factors for superimposition of bondage, means anatma, on atma are not there. And now he starts the explanation. Tathahi, the explanation follows. Yadi अन्यत्र कदाचित् सत्यबन्धः अनुभूतः स्यात् तदा तत्प्रमानुभवजन्यसंस्कारवशात् आत्मनि बन्धाध्यासः जायेत. So he said that if in some place at some time there would be experience of satyabandha, the bondage which is real, then only based on or on account of the impressions which are born of the experience in the form of valid knowledge of that real bondage on the self, the superimposition of bondage would be born. So here he has said that if the anubhava of satyabandha is there, then there is possibility of the samskara which are born of that satya anubhava of satyabandha, and then only based on that impressions there is a possibility of superimposition. Natu tadasti. However, that is not so. And what is that? That means the samskara, the impressions which are born of the experience in the form of valid knowledge of that real bondage is not there. How do you say so? For that he gives the reason. Vedanta Siddhante Atmanah Anyasya Sarvasya Api Mithyattvena Satyasya Vastunah Anumatrasya Api Abhava Nishchayat. So here the hetu which is directly connected to natad asti is satyasya vastunah anumatrasya api abhava nishchayat. So what is the hetu? That since there is ascertainment of absence of even a small thing which is real, and how such ascertainment is there? For that the hetu is Atmanah Anyasya Sarvasya Api Mithyatvena and Vedanta Siddhante. In the principle of Vedanta, since everything else apart from Atma is considered unreal. So, what is the steps here? First, that as per Vedanta Siddhanta, everything else except the self is considered mithya, unreal. It means everything else except Atma is not Satyam. And if there is, and the experience impressions can be born only by the anubhava of Satya bondage. But since bondage is not Satyam, so such samskara are not born. And if samskara are not there, then superimposition is untenable. Therefore, the superimposition is not possible.
Good, that is going to tell in the next sentence. You let know.
And tasmad satyabandhanubhava janita samskara bhava atmani bandhadyasah na yujyate. So here, tasmad, we can see it as that since there is ascertainment of everything else as unreal, and therefore there is no anubhava of something which is real. Therefore,
Anubhava of real bondage itself.
Yes. Therefore, there is no anubhava, experience of real bondage. Therefore, uh, therefore, there is absence of the impressions which are born of the anubhava of satya bandha, and therefore, on the self, the superimposition of bondage is not tenable, is not proper. So, in this manner, the Granthaka and the Purvapakshi has negated how the first samagri, that is Satya Bandha Pramanubhava Janita Samskaraha, for the adhyasa of anatma on atma is not there.
So Purvapakshi is objecting the Prayojana. The Prayojana is Jnanena Bandha Nivrutti, means Jnanena Moksha. For that, he gives the reason why Jnanena Bandha Nivrutti is not possible. Because Bandha is Satya. The real cannot be removed by knowledge, and Bandha is real. Because Bandha is not Adhyastha. If Bandha is Mithya, then it has to be Adhyastha. So Bandha is not real, means Bandha is not Adhyastha. And why Bandha is not Adhyastha? Because for Adhyasa of the Bandha, Samagri required is not there. And what are the Samagri? That is being discussed. Adhyasa Samagri. And he told 5 Samagris, and he showed that how in Drishtanta, Shuktikayam, Rajatadhyasa, Rajvam, Sarpadhyasa, these 5 conditions are there. Therefore, in Rajju, Sarpadhyasa is possible. In Shuktika, Rajatadhyasa is possible. But in Atma, Anatma Dhyasaha, Bandhadhyasa is not possible. So his contention is that Adhyasa is possible. He is not denying the Adhyasa like Vishishtadvaiti. Vishishtadvaiti don't accept Adhyasa itself. Whereas this Purvapakshi accepts Adhyasa. But he says, for Adhyasa, certain conditions are required. 5 conditions are required. And they are met with in the case of Sarpadhyasa, Rajatadhyasa. If they were not met with, this Adhyasa would not happen. So by Anvaya Vyatireka, he showed that Sarpadhyasa and Rajatadhyasa is happening because conditions are met. Means this Adhyasa Samagri are Anvaya Vyatireka Siddha. Anvaya Vyatireka Siddha as Samagri, causal factor. The causality, causal status of these 5 factors is Anvaya Vyatireka Siddha. And therefore, if samagris are not there, Adhyasa cannot happen. Karana bhave, karya bhava. And in case of Adhyasa of Anatma, Anatma Rupa Bandha on Atma, these 5 samagris are not there. And Purvapakshi wants to emphasize this point, that even if one is not there, Adhyasa will not happen. Then what to talk about when 5, all of them are not there? That's what he said. Tasmat yatha etesham anyatama bhave naivotpadyate ghataha तथा अध्यास सामग्रीणाम अन्यतमा भावे अपि अध्यासो न उत्पद्येत तस्मात् पूर्वोक्तानां पंचानां सामग्रीणाम आवश्यकत्वात् तासां सर्वासां सत्त्वेव अध्यासो जायते न अन्यथा. And then he said, बन्धस्य अध्यस्तत्व साधकः न एकः अपि हेतु संभवति. All 5 are required, and if one is not there, adhyasa will not happen. Whereas here, all 5 are not there. And then he explained the first, how first samagri is not there. Yadi anyatra, someplace, kadachit, sometime, satya bandha anubhutah syat, If the real bondage was experienced, then tat pramanubhavajanya samskara vashadatmani bandhadhyasah jayeta. Then the superimposition of the bondage on the self on account of the impression born of experience in the form of valid knowledge of real bondage. Jayeta natu tadasti. Here natu tadasti can be taken also as satya bandhaha anubhutaha nasti. That way also it can be taken. The real bondage is never experienced. So natu tadasti means real bondage was never experienced anywhere at any time. Why it is not experienced? Real bondage in the form of anatma means real anatma was never experienced any time. Why? Because in Vedanta Siddhanta, atmanaha anyasya means anatmanaha. Atmanaha anyasya sarvasyapi means all anatma is considered to be mithya. Anyat sarvam artam, everything is artam is vinashi, mithya. And therefore, since everything is mithya, therefore what? Satyasya vastunaha, satyasya anatma vastunaha. Any real anatma vastu, anumatrasya, even a small one, abhava nishchaya. Since in Vedanta Siddhanta there is ascertainment of the absence of even little bit real anatma. Why? Because everything is mithya, asat, and asataha bhavaha na vidyate. So mithya vastuna bhava na vidyate, and therefore what? In Vedanta Siddhanta there is an ascertainment that anatma does not have existence. Real anatma does not exist. Real anatma does not exist, and therefore there cannot be valid experience of real anatma, real bondage. Anatma and bondage are considered synonyms here. Since real anatma is not there, even little bit is not there. Even small anatma was there, it would have been good enough. But anumatra real anatma is not there, and therefore valid experience, pramarupa anubhava of real anatma, real bondage is not there. And since valid experience or experience in the form of valid knowledge of real anatma is not there, therefore the samskara born of such experience is not there. Because samskara is born only of experience. So tasmat means what? Satya bandhasya ananubhutatvat. That way also it can be said. Satya bandhasya ananubhutatvat. Natu tadasti, no, with that connection is there. So satya bandhasya ananubhutatvat. Since real bondage, real anatma is never experienced, or real anatma is not there, either way, real anatma is not there, or real anatma anubhava is not there, anubhava of real anatma is not there, tasmat satya bandha anubhava janita samskara bhavat. Therefore there will be, because there is absence, so the first tasmat is the hetu for the sanskara bhava. So, therefore, because of the absence of the impression born of the experience of real bondage, atmani bandhadhyasaha, anatmadhyasaha is na yujyate, is not possible. In simple words, the first requisite, the impression born of the experience of real thing is not there. For adhyasa of anatma to happen. Now, dvitiya tritiya samagri, abhava. So absence. So now the next topic is the absence of the second and third requisite or second and third causal factor. Now it is said pramatru. Here pramana dosha is there, no? It should be dosha. Pramatru pramana dosho api bandhadyasa karana bhavam na bhajataha. Pramatru pramana dosha also bandhadyasa karana bhavam, the status of being the cause of the superimposition of the bondage, na bhajataha, do not attain. So it's a poetic way of saying pramatru pramana dosha also do not attain the status of being the cause of the adhyasa bondage. In simple words, what it means that with reference to the superimposition of anatma bandha on atma, the pramatru pramana dosha also are not there. Pramatru pramana dosha required for adhyasa of anatma on atma are not there. That is what it means. So pramatru pramana dosho api bandhadhyasa karana bhavam na bhajataha. Bhajataha. तो भजन करता है ऐसा नहीं. Attain. They do not attain the status. Why? He says pramatradi nikhila prapanchaha adhyasa rupaha iti. Vedanta siddhanta. Such adhyasa eva bandha iti cha Vedanta siddhanta. What is Vedanta siddhanta? Pramatradi nikhila prapanchaha. The entire universe, starting with pramata, is adhyasa rupaha, is in the form of superimposition. Drishya, drashtru, both are superimposed. On one and the same self, the drashtru, drishya, drishyatmaka prapancha is superimposed. Like on the waker consciousness, the dream experiencer and dream world, both are superimposed. So the entire prapancha consisting of or beginning with pramata, adipadena what? Pramana, prameya. Pramatru, pramana, prameya, rupa, nikhila prapancha is what? Adhyasa rupa. So the entire anatma is adhyasa rupa. And in that anatma, the drishya and drashtru both are coming. Knower and known both. In the beginning we said known is anatma. After we said that knower as knower is anatma only. So pramatradi nikhila prapanchaha adhyasa rupaha. Pramata and pramana both are adhyasa rupa. One thing. Such a adhyasa eva bandhaha. And that adhyasa alone is bondage. Therefore, when we say bondage is superimposed upon atma, it means pramatradi nikhila prapancha is superimposed upon atma. Alright. And therefore what? Since pramatradi itself is adhyasa, it cannot become the adhyasa samagri. Product itself cannot become the cause. Cause can become manifest as effect, that is different thing. But effect itself cannot become the cause of itself. Roti cannot become the cause for roti itself. है ना? रोटी में से रोटी बना लो, ऐसे नहीं होता है. Tathacha, and thus bandhadhyasat purvam pramatru pramana swarupasyeva siddhehe. So before, and thus before the superimposition of the bondage, which is what? Nikhila Prapanchatmaka. So before the superimposition of the bondage in the form of the entire world, including Pramata Pramana, is it clear? So before that Adhyasa, Purvam is before that Adhyasa, Pramatru Pramana Swarupasyeva Siddhe. Since there is a non-establishment of the very nature, the form, status of Pramata and Pramana, since there is non-establishment of the nature of Pramata and Pramana, means Pramatru as Pramata is not available, Pramana as Pramana is not available, asiddhehe, tadgata doshanam sutaram asiddhihi. There is total non-establishment. Furthermore, non-establishment of the defects obtaining in Pramata and Pramana. Tasmat, therefore means what? He himself says, Pramatru Pramana Dosha Siddhehe. Because of non-establishment of Pramata Pramana Dosha, Bandhadhyasaha na siddhyati. The superimposition of the bondage in the form of the entire Dvaita Prapancha, including Pramatra Pramana, na siddhyati, is not established. Simply what he wants to say, in simple words, that for Adhyasa, requirement is Pramatru Dosha and Pramana Dosha. In Dashtanta. Dashtanta also, for the superimposition of Anatma on Atma, we require what? Pramatru Dosha and Pramana Dosha. And requisite factors should precede the Adhyasa. Because Karanam is what? Karya Niyata Purva Vritti. Karanam should precede the Karya. Means, before Anatma Dhyasa on Atma, Pramatru Pramana Dosha should be available. But the Pramata and Pramana themselves are included in the Adhyasa. Therefore what? The Pramata and Pramana are not available before Adhyasa. And since Pramata and Pramana themselves cannot be established before Adhyasa, how can you establish the Pramatru Dosha and Pramana Dosha? When Dharmi themselves are not established, how can you establish Dharma? Therefore, second and third Samagri, Pramatru Dosha and Pramana Dosha required for any Adhyasa are not there. In case of Anatma Adhyasa, in other things is available. For Anatma Adhyasa on Atma, this Pramatru Dosha, Pramana Dosha are not available because Pramatru Pramana themselves are Adhyasa Rupa. And therefore they themselves are not there. Dosha cannot be there. Is it clear? That is second and third Samagri. Now here Tippani is there. Sacha adhyasa eva bandhaha iti cha Vedanta siddhantaha. That is said here. He explains in the Tippani, fourth Tippani. Chaitanya Rupa Brahmanaha Anyasya Ajnana Tatkarya Bhuta Sthula Prapanchasya Dvaitamatrasya Sarvasya Api Drishyasya Chaitanye Brahmani Adhyastataya Antahkaranatmaka Pramatuhu Indriyatmaka Pramanasya Cha Drishyantaragattvena Pramatru Pramane Api Adhyaste Eva. So what he says, Chaitanya Rupa Brahmanaha Anyasya. Anything other than Brahman which is of the nature of consciousness. And what is that? Ajnana Tatkarya Bhuta Sthula Sukshma Prapancha. This ignorance and the gross and subtle world which is the product of ignorance. Dvaita Matrasya means the entire duality. Here matra karsnyartha matra. Sarvasyapi, all of them, which is drishya. Tasya, of this entire dvaita prapancha, of the entire objectifiable world, which is in the form of ajnana, tatkarya, sthula sukshma prapancha. So such a big description for what? Anatmana. Chaitanya, Brahmana, Anyasya, all these are up to Drishyasya is explaining what? Anatmana. Of this Anatma consisting of Ajnanam and Tatkarya, Chaitanya Brahmani Adhyastataya. Since Anatma in the form of Ajnanam and Tatkarya Sthula Sukha Prapancha is superimposed upon Brahman which is of the nature of consciousness, the Hetu, Adhyastataya. Sthula Prapancha, Sukshma Prapancha, Ajnanam, all of them are superimposed upon Brahman. Therefore what? Antahkaranatmaka Pramatuhu. Of Pramata who is of the nature of Antahkaranam. Sabhasa Antahkaranam Pramata. That is one definition of Pramata. Chidabhasa Sahita Antahkaranam is called Pramata. So here Pramata which is Antahkaranatmaka, Chidabhasa aspect is not mentioned, but Chidabhasa also is there. So Pramata which is Antahkaranatmaka and Indriyatmaka Pramana and Pramana which is in the form of organs. Both of them, Antahkaranatmaka Pramata and Indriyatmaka Pramana, both of them Drishyantara being included in the knowable, objectifiable world. Therefore what? Pramatru Pramane api adhyaste eva. Therefore Pramata and Pramana, both of them are superimposed only. He gave such a long explanation why Pramata and Pramana are adhyasta. See, explanation is that Pramata is Antahkaranatmaka, Pramana is Indriyatmaka. And Antahkarana and Indriya, they are obtaining in the Sukshma Prapancha. And Sukshma Prapancha is Adhyastha in Brahma. Therefore, Pramatru and Pramana are Adhyastha in Brahma. So, Pramatru and Pramana, both of them are coming in Drishya Prapancha category. Yeah. And therefore, they are Adhyastha. Alright. Because Yad Drishyam Tad Adhyastha. And therefore, Pramatru Pramanam, both of them are being Drishyantargata, therefore, Adhyastha. Alright. Tasmat, therefore. Therefore means what? Since Pramata and Pramana, both of them are Adhyastha, therefore, prapanchadhyasat purvam. Before the prapanchadhyasa, before the superimposition of prapancha, which includes pramata and pramana. So pramatru pramana sahita prapanchadhyasat purvam Pramatradayaha. So before the superimposition of the universe, including Pramata and Pramana, Pramatradaya, Pramata, etc., Prapanchadhyasa Karanatvena, as the cause of the superimposition of the universe, na siddhyanti, they are not established. So Pramatradi, Pramata, etc., are not established as the cause for the superimposition of Prapancha. Iti Upanishad Siddhanta. This is the Siddhanta of Upanishad. Further. So here what he wants to say, that Pramata and Pramana are part of Adhyasa, therefore they cannot become the cause for Adhyasa. And therefore Pramatrugata dosha also is not available, Pramanagata dosha also not available as Adhyasa Samagri. Dvitiya Tritiya. Then Chaturtha Samagri Abhava. Chaturtha Samagri Abhava means the absence of the fourth requisite or fourth causal factor. What is that? Bandhatmanoho anyonyam sadrishya rupa prameya doshaha api nasti. Prameya dosha, the defect in the prameya, adhisthana rupa prameya, the thing knowable. And what type of dosha? Sadrishya rupa, similarity. Prameya dosha, the defect in the knowable object in the form of sadrishya rupa dosha. Sadrishya of what? Bandhatmanoho anyonyam sadrishya. The mutual similarity of the bondage and Atma. So mutual similarity of the bondage and Atma. Here bondage should be remembered to be Anatma. Atmanatmano. Bandhatmanoho anyonyam sadrishya rupa prameya dosha api nasti. Is not there. The similarity between Anatma rupa bandha and Atma is not there. Mutual similarity is not there. Why? Tamah prakashavad viruddha swarupatvat tayoho. Because of both of them being of opposite nature. Like darkness and light. Vishpadaspat pratyaya gocharayo vishay vishayino, that idea is brought up here. So, viruddha swabhava. Anatma rupa bandha and Atma are having opposite nature like light and darkness, therefore they cannot have similarity. And then he further explains how they are viruddha swabhava. Atma pratyak antarascha. Atma is pratyak, inward essence or the most proximate essence. Antarascha, it is internal. Whereas bandha is equal to anatma. Bandha is anatma, anatma rupa bandha, non-self, which is parak, outward, bahyaha, and external. So parak can be translated as outward or remote, away. So when we are thinking of anatma, our cognitive journey will be outside. We say Anandamaya Kosha is anatma, then Vijnanamaya Kosha is anatma, anatma. So parak, it is of outward nature or being remote. Parak can be taken as remote also. So bandha, which is anatma, is outward or remote, and bahya, external. This is one difference. I mean, really speaking, pratyak and antar has almost similar meaning, but since they have given two words, we have to pass. Cha also is given. If pratyak and antara, we would have managed. Antara cha is given. Therefore, we are making the difference. Really, my job was really, I had to search that how to say pratyak and antara, because pratyak generally we translate the inner essence. Antara means also inner. So one is the pratyak, we say inward. Inward is slightly different from inside. Inward means that which is going towards inside, and the antara means inside. So slight difference we can make. But that also will not be satisfied. ये थोड़ा क्या manipulation होता है. इसलिए the pratyek means remote. Sorry, pratyek means the proximate, the most proximate. In short, atma is pratyak and bandha, anatmaka bandha is parak, out. So one difference. Second difference is what? Atma Vishayi Prakashakaha. Atma is the Vishayi, the subject. Here subject in the sense of Prakashaka, illuminator. Not Pramatra Rupa Vishayi. Therefore is a Prakashaka. So Atma is illuminator. Whereas Bandhaha Vishayaha. Whereas bondage is the object. Bandhaha is what? Anatma Rupa. The Katapatadi Shariratraya is a Bandhaha. And that is Vishayaha is equal to Prakashyaha, means illuminable, revealed. Jadaha cha, and it is inert. Whereas Atma is Chaitanya Swarupa. So both of them have got opposite nature. And therefore what? Pratichi Parachaha, Parachi Pratichaha cha Adhyasana Sambhavati. In the innermost or the most proximate, Parachaha, Sashti Vibhakti Ekvajan, Pratichi Parachaha Adhyasana Sambhavati. On the inward, there is no adhyasa of the outward, or in the proximate one, the remote one, superimposition cannot be there. The superimposition of the remote cannot be there. So Pratichi Parachaha Adhyasana Sambhavati. The superimposition of the external on the internal is not possible. Or superimposition of the remote on the proximate is not possible. Parachi Pratichahacha, on the outward, the superimposition of inward is not possible. I am giving all possible meaning of Pratyak Paracha. Okay. Then he gives the example. Putradi apekshaya swadeha pratyak. Compared to the sun, means sun's body, swadeha, one's own body is pratyak. Pratyak means proximate, inner. And swadehe, and therefore what? Swadehe, on one's own body, putradinam adhyasana bhavati. On one's own body, the superimposition of the sun does not happen. And putrado swadehasya, the superimposition of one's own body on the sun, not possible. Means adhyasa of atma on anatma and adhyasa of anatma on atma, both are not possible. That's what he wants to say. Therefore, example is this. The superimposition of the outward on inward and superimposition of inward on outward, not possible. Like sun's body cannot be superimposed upon one's own body. Dharma sometimes is superimposed. That is also idea-wise that putre nashte am nashtaha. But the entity is not superimposed. So swadehe putradinam putrado swadehesya cha adhyasana bhavati. In that he could have said ghata also. Ghatadi apeksha swadeha pratyak. And gate swasya swadehe ghatasya and gate swadehasya adhyasana bhavati. Tata vishaye vishayinaha vishayini vishayasya cha adhyasana bhavati. Similarly, the superimposition of the subject on the object and superimposition of the object on the subject, na bhavati, does not happen. More we'll see in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.
Hari Om.